Jeremiah chapter 25 contains one of the most famous and important prophecies of this book. It's in this place that Jeremiah says Israel and the surrounding nations will be punished with 70 years of servitude to Babylon. This comes from Jeremiah 25, verse 11. This whole land shall become a ruin and a waste, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. Jeremiah is prophesying that Judah and the surrounding nations would be desolated by Babylon, and they would serve that nation for a period of 70 years. Amazingly, there are several ways to count these 70 years, but it appears that the prophetic clock begins in 605 BC when the people of Jerusalem become vassals of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. That's described in 2 Kings chapter 24. This is also the year that the first wave of captives are taken away to Babylon. We read some about this in Daniel chapter 1. The 70 years ends in about 536 BC when Cyrus, king of Persia, releases the Jews to return to Israel and rebuild the temple. That's the implication of Jeremiah 29 verse 10. For thus says the Lord, when 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will visit you and I will fulfill to you my promise and bring you back to this place. We really get the whole picture at the end of 2 Chronicles 36. This is 2 Chronicles 36, verses 15 through 17. The Lord, the God of their fathers, sent persistently to them by his messengers, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they kept mocking the messengers of God, despising his words and scoffing at his prophets, until the wrath of the Lord rose against his people, until there was no remedy. Therefore he brought up against them the king of the Chaldeans, who killed their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion on the young man or virgin, old man or aged. He gave them all into his hand. And then verses 20 and 21. He took into exile in Babylon those who had escaped from the sword, and they became servants to him and to his sons until the establishment of the kingdom of Persia, to fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed its Sabbaths. All the days that it lay desolate, it kept Sabbath, to fulfill 70 years. This passage is especially interesting because it explains why Israel's desolation and captivity was appointed as 70 years. The people had been neglecting the weekly Sabbath, but they had also been neglecting the Sabbath years. Every 7 years, the land was to rest and remain uncultivated. These 70 years represented the 70 times that Israel had profaned the land by forsaking the Sabbath years. The same chapter, 2 Chronicles 36, acknowledges that the words of Jeremiah were fulfilled by Cyrus, king of Persia. This is 2 Chronicles 36, verses 22 and 23. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, so that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and also put it in writing. Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Whoever is among you of all his people, may the Lord his God be with him. Let him go up. Altogether, the prophecies indicate that the 70 years began when Jerusalem was subjugated by Babylon in 605 BC, and it ends when the people are released from their captivity in 536 BC. There are other periods of 70 years that make good sense, but I think this period makes the most sense both historically and theologically. This period of 70 years is well established in the Bible and in secular history. Other prophets were well aware of this promise that after 70 years in desolation and servitude, the people would return and the land would be restored. For example, Daniel 9, verses 1 and 2. In the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, by descent a Mede, who was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, perceived in the books the number of years that, according to the word of the Lord to Jeremiah the prophet, must pass before the end of the desolations of Jerusalem, namely 70 years. Daniel knew that the words of Jeremiah were true, and so do we. Thanks for listening.